The theory of evolution by natural selection was put forward in 1858 independently by two men. One was Charles Darwin. This is the story of the other, Alfred Russel Wallace. From February 24, 2025, Mingwa and I went on a 10-day research trip to follow the trail of British naturalist Alfred Russel Wallace, who arrived in Sarawak on 29 October 1854.
We would like to say thank you for flying with us and have a pleasant stay in Kuching.
We took a boat cruise on the Sarawak River in Kuching to get a sense of how people used to live and travel using the river systems in the past. As we passed by the Astana, we tried to imagine how it would look like when Alfred Russel Wallace rode up its bank after a 12-day trip from Singapore.
I was hospitably entertained by James Brooke and lived in his house whenever I was at the town of Sarawak in the intervals of my journeys.
Early in the morning, we were able to walk onto Santubong riverbed because of the low tide. Upon reaching the middle of the riverbed, we turned around and saw a house on a small hill underneath Mount Santubong. The house is located on the same spot where Wallace stayed and wrote on the law which regulated the introduction of new species. Also now known as Sarawak Law. He was working on the theory of evolution independent of Charles Darwin.
Every species has come into existence coincident both in space and time with a pre-existing closely allied species.
Walking towards the direction of the house, we approached a group of naturally formed giant rocks. One looks like a head of crocodile. It's a legend connected to Santubong, that of a beheaded crocodile turned into rock. There are many legends associated with Mount Santubong and the surrounding area. Perhaps they are inspired by the existence of human activities there a long time ago. There are many versions of the legend of Putri Santubong, the jealousy between two sisters who fought over a man. Santubong struck Sejinjang so hard she broke into pieces, fell into the sea and formed the island Pulau Kera, while Santubong herself turned into a mountain. In another version, Sejinjang also turned into a mountain. All we see today are remnants of this legend as one walks around this area. The towering Mount Santubong faces Mount Sejinjang across the river, while Pulau Kera is a tiny island slightly further into the sea.
During an immense but unknown period, the surface of the Earth has undergone successive changes. Land has sunk beneath the ocean, while fresh land has risen up from it. Mountain chains have been elevated, islands have been formed into continents, and continents submerged till they have become islands. And these changes have taken place, not once merely, but perhaps hundreds, perhaps thousands of times.
During our first trip to Santubong, the Wallace Center was closed and we didn't get to enter. We visited again a month after the Wallace Center opened and finally got to see the exhibits inside. Accompanying us was Dr. Gerald Drawhorn, a biological anthropologist who has given us so many insights into Wallace's expedition in Sarawak. We were very grateful for his expertise and time spent with us.
The alienation of Ali is about whether or not Ali was from Ternate or and then ultimately returned to Ternate, or if he was from Sarawak. And I think it's pretty clear from Wallace's writings that he had a Borneo lad that was a helper. Continually refers to Ali as being from Borneo. And that still leaves open whether he could have come from another part of Borneo. But ultimately he picked him up here in Sarawak, and so I think there's a better grounds for him being from Sarawak than he from anywhere else.
During the rainy season of 1855, possibly on the same ground where the Wallace Center now stands, Alfred Russel Wallace wrote Sarawak Law, outlining his first ideas on what was then a radical theory of evolution, developed independently of Charles Darwin. Later, in 1859, Darwin and Wallace were credited with formulating the theory of evolution, a major scientific breakthrough that provided a unifying framework for biology, genetics, and ecology. Under Mount Santubong, on a slanting slope near the bank of a small stream, rests the mysterious figure of a man with a ponytail, his back facing us, as if he is hugging or emerging from a large boulder. No one living today knows why this mysterious petroglyph is here, who made it, or what it was for. It was discovered back in 1886 by a Malay fisherman in clearing a spot of ground for his garden. We were awed by its presence, by its ancientness, as we tried to enter back in time and be swallowed by the jungle. In the Malay archipelago, Wallace didn't describe his travels in strict chronological order. Instead, he grouped his writings by places and themes. Because of this, and because transport today is very different from what it was in his time, it wasn't easy for us to follow his exact route in Sarawak. We were fortunate to have YouTuber Ben Tiko, a retired school principal who is passionate about Sarawakian history, as coordinator for parts of our research trip.
The first place that was related to Wallace that Yung Chia and Min Wan visited was Bukit Peninjau.
Hi, I'm Yung Chia. This is my partner Ming Wa. We are here on a research trip to follow Wallace's trail and feeling quite excited here in Bung Muan or Bukit Peninjau. We reached there with a sense of excitement and defeat. Excited because we knew there's a recent restored cottage up there in which Alfred Russel Wallace had stayed and captured thousands of moths by placing a lamp against the whitewashed wall at night. Defeated because we already knew we would not be able to see it because it was too arduous a climb for us.
I therefore accepted Sir James Brooke's invitation to spend a week with him and Mr. St. John at Cottage on Penenjaw. This is a very steep pyramidal mountain of crystalline basaltic rock, about 1,000 feet high and covered with luxuriant forest.
It was here that Wallace first mentioned Ali Wallace, his most dependable assistant, who contributed much to his research in the Malay archipelago.
A few days afterwards, I returned to the mountain with Charles and a Malay boy named Ollie, and stayed there 3 weeks for the purpose of making a collection of land shells, butterflies and moths, ferns and orchids. On the hill itself, ferns were tolerably plentiful, and I made a collection of about 40 species. But what occupied me most was the great abundance of moths, which on certain occasions I was able to capture. As during the whole of my 8 years' wanderings in the East, I never found another spot where these insects were at all plentiful.
After the death of James Brooke, the cottage fell into disrepair and soon forgotten until the 1980s when Lord Cranbrook, a former University Malaya lecturer, took an interest in it. Initially, progress was slow, but with the help of a local journalist, James Ritchie, who highlighted the history of the place through newspaper, and the support of the local people, especially from Kampung Peninjau Lama, things slowly fell into place. One thing led to another, and overcoming the challenges, the Brooke Heritage Site and Brooke's Cottage was finally completed with the help from several parties.
很多啊，你看过？
现在没有了。
多是
因为
多少？
现在那个森林里面那个被人的那个公司做那个拔种有种没有。
We went to Semengko Wildlife Reserve, where rescue and half-wild orang-utans still return during feeding time. We waited for 2 hours in the unceasing rain and almost lost hope. When suddenly, at the last minute of our visit, a young female gingerly appeared. Simunjang was an important site for our research on Alfred Russel Wallace. Alfred Russel Wallace stayed in Simunjang for 8 months, living amongst Chinese miners who were building railway tracks for transporting coal from the newly opened mines to the Sarong River.
During my whole 12 years collecting in the Western and Eastern tropics, I have never enjoyed such advantage in this respect as at the Simunjang coal works. I had a small house of 2 rooms and a veranda built for myself. Here I remained nearly 9 months and made an immense collection of insects.
Orang-utan were so abundant that Wallace saw his first meals, as they were called by locals then, just 1 week after his arrival.
One of my chief objects in coming to stay in Seamunjan was to see the orangutan in his native haunts, to study his habits, and obtain good specimens of the different varieties and species of both sexes, and of the adult and young animals.
What followed was the most bloody description in the Malay Archipelago, where Wallace excitedly hunted, shot, and killed these gentle creatures. We went to the bottom of the hill where the coal mines were located. It was closed down after the Second World War. Today, one can only visit its entrances. And of the railway that carried coal to the Southern River, only a part of the steam engine is left on the side of the road. We interviewed the village head, Mr. Lai, 69 years old, who descended from 2 generations of Seamunjan coal miners.
你看到的 orangutan 是在树上，还是他们有走下来的？
树上，
全部在树上啊。
他没有下来的啦，全部在上面啦。哦，有带 baby 的吗？
有。
哦，也是有带 baby 的。
小的那个 baby。那个窝是很多那个树叶，他们拿来。
这好这样子啊。
这管了，他们放在那边一整堆很大堆嘛，他们在那边所有啊，全部跑掉，不知道跑到哪里去。
A lot. This whole environment, even the coal mines, has changed a lot. But we can sense that the landscape still remains somewhat the same because we see the houses, a lot of the kampung houses are still on stilts. So we can imagine, when the rainy season comes, a lot of the places will be flooded. So it gives us like a mental image to imagine back how it used to be like. Originally living in the mountains nearby, the Biana, the people of the river Anna, moved down and settled in the valley after James Brooke banned headhunting, and therefore their enemies were no longer a threat to them. The village was called Sena during Wallace's time.
On inquiring for a boat to take me down the stream, I was told that the Sena Dyaks, although living on the riverbanks, never made or used boats. They were mountaineers who had only come down into the valley about 20 years before, and had not yet got into new habits.
We were greeted by Arthur Bowman, Anna Rice resident and renowned Bidayo musician. He explained about the longhouse and how bamboo is used in many different ways, from construction of the longhouse to cooking with it and making musical instruments.
So that you are able to cut at one end and open it up. Yeah. And this thing, see? And then the bamboo naturally has knots here, so you shave off the knot. And for you to be able to open it up like this, although you cut at one end, you open it up, it cannot open right away when it's still green, so you have to put an extra heavy weight on top to make it flat.
This reminded us about what Wallace wrote in the Malay Archipelago.
The bamboo is one of the most wonderful and most beautiful productions of the tropics. The Dayak houses are all raised on posts and are often 200 or 300 feet long and 40 or 50 wide. The floor is always formed of strips split from large bamboos, so that each may be nearly flat and about 3 inches wide, and these are firmly tied down with rattan to the joists beneath. When well made, this is a delightful floor to walk upon barefooted, the rounded surfaces of the bamboo being very smooth and agreeable to the feet, while at the same time affording a firm hold.
usually in December or early January, it is telling us that it is a good fruit season to come.
Good food system.
Yeah. Good fruit season to come. And our people in the past create music out of that sound. Follow the sound of the bird like this. You can hear that kang 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 cook. And this is the piece that is called kangkuk. Inspired by the sound of that kangkuk bird.